Okay, this will be our second video of the day. I was going to do another video about cooking, but I'm sick. I got really congestion, and this is a bad influenza going around. I don't think I have influenza. Is it the flu? The fluenza? One flew over the cuckoo's nest. But I decided to do a different video altogether because of the fact I don't be touching door handles and the refrigerator door and all that when I'm sick. So I'm trying to just stay out of the refrigerator. Stay out of the kitchen. But this video, I'll do this one. Someone asked about this. This is about the letter words. The N word, the R word, the F word, the S word, all those different words. And, I don't mean Nancy and Freddie and Susan and all that kind of stuff. I mean words that are considered bad words. Now, maybe they were always bad words. Maybe they were not. The C word, for example, the dirty C word that we do not use here for women, or a description or part of the women's anatomy. We can't say the C word, but in Great Britain they use it all the time. I won't use the word, but they'll say, "Oh, Grandma, aren't you being a cheeky little, C today?" To the grandma they'll use the C word. We don't use the C word, and I'm not talking kitty. I'm not talking cat or calendar or cream or whatever. The C word, you know what the C word is, and it's dirty, dirty, dirty for us here in the United States. Other places, just fine. We also have the N word, a lot of people don't even know the origin of that, and to tell you the truth, we don't really know the actual origin. They said it was not considered a derogatory term until the 18th century, so it's pre-18th century. Some people think the N-word was a mispronunciation of the word Niger, like the Niger River or whatever, or even Nigerian, an abbreviation. And then they also have Necker, N-E-K-K-E-R, from somewhere in a more of a Caucasian area of Europe. Some people think that it is a Latin word, Spanish or Latin word, meaning black. We have negro, right? So that word is in our recent history, our recent times, modern times, whatever, has always been a bad word. You can't say that word. When I was in the military, some young fellas who were now would be considered African American, I think we call them black guys, they were using that word freely at the basketball court in the gymnasium at the Air Force Base. And I told young men, airmen, don't use that word because you're not allowed to use that word. It doesn't matter what color you are, who you're saying it to. You can't use that word. That is a word that's on the list of do not says. Do not say, do not says, do not sees. Say not to these words. They are bad words. They did again. So hey, that's warning number 2. If I come back again, I'm going to go up front. I'm going to get all your names from the sign-in sheet. 4 here. I was with these guys, and then I'm going to go. Bring it to your first sergeant, and we'll have problems. So don't have problems. And they did it again. They were just, N-word, please. Oh, come on, my N-word. And that kind of thing. N-word. Not like inward belly button or outward belly button, but the N-word. They didn't believe me. The senior airman who had 3 stripies, he now had 1 stripie. Yeah, lost 2 stripies. The A1C, boop, 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 he lost 2. Whoop. And he was a big old slick sleeve. The ones that got out basically unscathed were the ones that had no rank. There was nothing to take. They got extra duty. I think they got every day you'd work your 8 hours, your 10-hour day, and then you'd have to report in to the first sergeant. Then they'd give you an assignment. So you don't work. You think we worked right under the first sergeant? You could if you worked in the orderly room, perhaps you did. But the first sergeant would usually be separate. There'd be the commander and the executive officer, or whoever, all the way down, to the first sergeant, listed guys, and then we'd have that'd be maybe the orderly room, or they'd be running that more an administrative type of a capacity than actually be out there maybe doing the job the rest of us did. But they didn't believe me. They didn't believe me they could be in trouble for that because they were all, as my friend says, they were all this and I was this. So why would I care if they are using the N-word? Well, I did care. I knew they were using it as a jovial, happy word that they were saying to each other, but you're not allowed to do that. No, if it's a bad word for this guy to say it. It's a bad word for you to say it. It's a bad word for the Asian guy to say it. It's a bad word for the lady at the dining hall to say it. It's a bad word. Can't do it. Can't do it. It says you can't say that word, and you did. And it's social actions is the one that investigates that, and they got a lot of trouble. Yeah, the N word. Now, we recently have a lot of talking about the R word. We don't mean like, are you a pirate? I'm a pirate. You're a pirate. But the R word, that word, up until like the 1970s, was the acceptable term for somebody, and it is called retarded or retard or mental retardation. In the 70s, we started saying, hey, maybe we shouldn't say that. Maybe we should come up with a better term. Maybe we just call the guy Bill and her Becky and him Jamil, and that one, Mr. Chang, or that one, whatever whatever they maybe call them by their name. I don't know. But yeah, so we would try to get that erased. Don't say that word anymore. It's a bad word. But up until the 1970s, no one even had a problem. They were always called that. Then in was it 2010? We had the ROSA Act or whatever under Obama, 15 years ago, I guess, to stop saying that word in government, correspondence or whatever. And they were supposed to say that they were, I had the word mentally disabled or academically or intellectually disabled. Intellectually disabled, I think is what they call them. And that's what you're supposed to call them. Hi, you're intellectually disabled. The ID, or whatever, I don't know. Where's your ID? Show me your ID. A friend of mine who is the ID, I guess, but I just know him from where he works, and he pushes carts whoop, 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 at a store. But he says he is the R word. Like my friends that are in my generation, they are black. They're not African American. When I was a youngster, I guess people still said Negro and colored. I just think, well, what color are they? But yeah, it's a Negro. Yeah, not common. It wasn't like everybody would say that. We said black person and white person. We didn't really say yellow person for Asians or that. It's basically black and white, kind of like the old Michael Jackson was thinking about. But yeah, so now we're all getting in trouble for someone saying the R word. Now the R word is still used, and all that, but it wasn't negative. It wasn't it was the word to call people up into the 1970s. The N word, no. The C word out here, ooh, don't say that. The F word, F word you, you mother effer, the mother F word, or whatever. Yeah, so we have these words we try to fix the word with by giving it a letter grade. This is a letter A, a B, a C, D, and F. Whatever we get these letters. And it's kind of silly to stick around and say R word, R word, R word. So-and-so said the N word. Did they say the N word? Did they say the R word? Did they say, hey, Tim Walz, you are R? No. The President of the United States said that Tim Walz is badly retarded, or is seriously retarded, I guess. He's seriously retarded. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Tim Walz, but we shouldn't say that about him. Especially because I think his son is... intellectually challenged. He has something wrong with him. Not has something wrong with him. He has a condition. We really shouldn't even say someone has something wrong. Hey, what's wrong with you? When I was a kid, are you Japanese or Chinese? Now there's a lot more variations that we would address. I don't know what they say nowadays. Are you Asian? Oriental is supposed to be a derogatory term. Oriental. People used to say Oriental. The Oriental. But the R word, the N word, what's up with that? A lot of talk about that lately. So I just thought I'd cover that. We do this kind of a thing. And some areas, it's like the C word, for example. It's perfectly okay to say that in conversation in Great Britain. Here, no. The N word, here, no. Yeah, the R word, no. I did see that some article, and when someone does say retarded, it kind of stands out. It said they were doing a fundraiser for a fundraiser, and a group of people got together to raise funds to help the retarded. I saw that recently, and it wasn't like I was reading some story from 1945 or something. It was recent times, and I think that was so. It might have been another country. Do they say R word, N word, where you're from? If you're from a different country, do they say that? If you're another part of the country, of our country, the United States, or not just our country, everybody can be on here. But we seem to be putting a lot of stress on that. Maybe we should just call people by what they are. Tim WALZ, you are a Tim WALZ. That's pretty bad. Yeah, no one wants to be a Tim WALZ. Tampon Tim and all that, drive by his house and say, "Hey, Tim WALZ," and just keep on driving. "Hey, you're Tim WALZ. This is the WALZ family. WALZ. WLZ. WALZ. The W word." I don't know, we spend a lot of time on a lot of nonsense. But maybe just call people by their name. What do you think? Give me your comments down below. Do people use these words and is it acceptable? Do people use these words and they shouldn't be? I don't know. Please subscribe, like, share, give me your comments. Have a great night. And I'll be making that if I feel better on Wednesday, I'll make that cooking video for Thursday. Take care.